We are a month in to the MLB season, and I'm going to get you guys up to date on everything that has happened, at least as much as I can, that has happened from the beginning of the season to now. We're going to talk about a lot of April stats. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things, standings, stuff like that. Going into the month of May, yeah, this video is coming out a little late. I get it. But we're going to have all that and more here today. Welcome back to Armchair Analysis. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your weekend here. Today, Saturday. Hope you guys are having a good time. I'm planning to go out and enjoy myself this evening as well. But we'll see. It's also supposed to rain, so we'll see if that's actually going to happen. Trying to get to the racetrack. For those that don't know, I'm a huge race fan, a motorsports fan as in general. And you can find that over at the final corner. That's not going to be here. And if you didn't know, look behind me. But anyways, trying to get to the racetrack tonight, and enjoy the local scene out there. But if it rains, we're going to stay in. We're going to watch the Sox game. We're going to watch some hockey. Game 7 of the Stars Avs tonight. Some stuff like that. That's not what this video is about, so I apologize. You guys don't care about my weekend. Maybe you do. And if you do, well, thank you. But if you don't, it's what it is. We're here to talk about MLB and the month of April. So without any further interruptions, without me blabbering any further about anything that isn't important, let's talk MLB. The first month of the season has been filled with a lot of intriguing storylines. I mean, we can take a look anywhere we want. Of course, Alex Bregman, in his breakout start with the Red Sox, which isn't surprising. It's just kind of a big storyline. Christian Campbell's a big storyline in terms of the Rookie of the Year race early on. The Yankees being kind of touch and go as they are right now. We could look at Detroit kind of being the surprise out of the AL Central. We could look at Seattle or the entirety of the AL West as a whole and how surprising it's been. And then, of course, the NL has its own bunch of surprises as well to be talked about. So, all that out of the way, I'm going to be honest with you, there's a lot of things I might miss simply because the one thing I can tell you is following so many sports at once is a little difficult, and sometimes I don't always catch the right stories or the cool storylines. So what I ask you to do, if I misinform, which is not likely to be misinformed, it's more likely to just miss something I probably could have mentioned, drop it in the comments. Just let me know, hey, you missed Mackenzie Gore, for example. He's not going to be talked about here today, but I know Mackenzie Gore's had a really good start to the year for the Nationals. You could throw anything in down there, and it's all appreciated because all it does is just help other people become more informed about the sports that they are watching. So, thank you guys, and now we'll go ahead and get into this. So I'm going to start by just taking you through the standings, and we're going to talk about some other storylines and things that we've seen throughout the first month of the season. With those standings, we'll start in the AL, the AL East, kind of my neck of the woods as a Red Sox fan. The Yankees have a 1.5 game lead over the Red Sox. The Rays in third, tied with Toronto. And these are the numbers at the end of the month. These are the numbers from April 30th, not May 3rd. Just understand that. The Rays and Jays are tied. They were 14 and 16. And the Orioles, 12 and 18. A slow start for them. We're going to talk a little bit about that later as well. In the AL Central, you have the Detroit Tigers with a 1.5 game lead over the Cleveland Guardians. The Royals sit 3 games back. They're kind of starting to catch fire and get themselves back into a good rhythm. Then you got the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox sitting in dead last. In the AL West, you have the Seattle Mariners with a 2-game lead over the Houston Astros. The Athletics sit in third. The Rangers fourth. Rangers and Athletics had the same record. And the Angels sit in fifth in the AL West, 5.5 back of the Mariners. In the National League, you got the East, the Mets, Phillies, Braves, Nationals, and Marlins in that order. The Mets 21 and 10, best record in baseball, tied for the best record in baseball across the league with the Dodgers. We'll talk about it a little later. In the NL Central, you have the Chicago Cubs with a 2-game lead over the Reds and Brewers. both. The St. Louis Cardinals sit in fourth in the division, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates rounded out 6 games back. In the NL West, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers, again, 21-10, tied with the Mets for the best record in the league. Then you have the San Diego Padres, a game and a half back, the Giants, 2 games back, the Diamondbacks, 4.5 back, and then the Colorado Rockies sit at 5-25, closing out with the worst record in baseball after the month of April. Now, why am I telling you this, and what does this mean in terms of playoff baseball? The short answer is nothing. That there's nothing that today's numbers mean to you today that they will carry over into October. Now, it might give you a little bit of a trend or maybe an idea of what a team might really be, but we don't actually know, and we can't really take anything from just 30 days, and in this case, 32 days. The stats I'm going to go over today are from the month of April only. So anything that happened in the Tokyo series, anything that happened in the first weekend of the season isn't really going to be in this video, and I apologize. When I was going through this video, I had put all these stats together just a few minutes ago. And when I put these stats together, what I didn't realize was I was only doing the month of April. So I apologize. Going forward, it's going to be the entire season up to the end of the month. And so we're going to be kind of taking different looks at things to the end of the month. It'll make more sense as we go through the season, so I apologize, but again, it's just April this time around. So around the league, there's a lot of things, and I guess, maybe I'll hold off on that for a second. Let's talk about some of the storylines of teams and teams with struggles, right? The big one being the Baltimore Orioles. Nobody expected 12-18 at the end of April. Nobody expected them to be dead last in the AL East at the end of April. Everybody would have said Toronto, Tampa. Baltimore has had this issue with their pitching. I mean, they've been giving up a lot of runs. Charlie Morton has not really been what they wanted him to be when signing him to come over. They're missing that solid ace that goes out every 5 days and you know you're going to win. I think that there is room for improvement, clearly. I mean, they're last in the division. But I think there's room for this team to grow, and there's time, obviously, for this team to grow and become the team I think we expected them to be, which is competing for the AL East and really putting themselves in position to go out and maybe be the team to beat out of the AL. I don't know if they're quite there yet, but it's possible. I mean, it's not out of the question. I mean, for example, let's look at Houston last year. At the end of the month of April, we did not think that they had a shot. We were wondering what was going on. Why were they not leading the pack in an AL West that was so down last year? Why were they not way far and away the best team in the division? Well, as the year went on, we figured out that they were, and it just kind of took them a month to get going. Could we see the same thing with the Orioles? Absolutely. Could we sit back and say, man, maybe we were just a little too high on them? Yeah, I think that's certainly the case too. I'm going to say the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I think that there is cause for concern. Let's not sit back and act like this is just normal. Let's not sit back and act like there's no reason to be at least slightly, again, concerned about what's going on. But it's not something that I'm going to sit back and say that this team is completely out of any conversation. Again, Charlie Morton, I think, is probably the key here in this rotation. If he can start putting things together and kind of come back to earth, from wherever you want to say he's at right now. I mean, 20 walks in the first month is not characteristic for the typical Charlie Morton that I think we've seen over the last handful of years in helping a bunch of teams make World Series runs. that's just not what we've come to know or expect. And I don't think it's something that we're going to continue to see or come to expect in 2025. I think it's a bad month. And I think that happens. I'm really genuine, and I'm not concerned whatsoever about that. So sitting here, since I decided to look up a stat but that I didn't look up beforehand because I didn't know I was going to go into this conversation, I wanted to make sure I come at you guys with correct info and facts. And the facts are that the Baltimore Orioles are 29th in the league in pitching, and they are dead last 15th in the American League. In terms of ERA, they sit at a 5.29 ERA. This is a team that is, since I'm already here, let's go ahead and take a look. The most walks surrendered, the Orioles are 11th in terms, 11th most at 112, tied with the Rockies. Earned runs, they are sitting in 4th, allowing 158 runs earned. They've allowed 169 total. They are allowing an average against of 285, which is second to last to the Rockies. The pitching has just been inconsistent, to say the least. Why would I be able to say that, or how can I say that? Because, the offense, while it hasn't been much better, they're 25th in the league. Let's not act like the offense is completely off the books here. They're batting 226. They're not putting runs across the board. As a matter of fact, taking a look at that number, they're 20th. They put up 123 runs so far here on the season. But they're 10th in home runs. They got 38 home runs on the year. So there's things that they're doing well, and there's things that they're just not. But at the end of the day, the whole team needs to pick it up, and I think a lot of that would come and benefit from the pitching staff holding up their end of the bargain. Being dead last in the league and being second to last in the entire MLB is just not going to cut it, especially in the AL East, where you're facing teams who can hit off of you day in, day out. When you face Boston, at any moment, we've seen Boston be able to go for 5 to 15 runs at any given moment. The Yankees can, I don't even got to tell you, look at what they've done so far. The Blue Jays have a roster that when they can put things together, when Santander, Springer, Guerrero, Bichette, like that top 4 start going, the entire roster starts going. The entire team starts hitting and putting balls in play, and they start scoring runs. And even the Rays, as much as we probably expected them to be dead last in the division, they continue to do Rays things, right? Where they sit back, they're the quiet, unsung team, nobody's talking about them, and then here they are, still in the conversation come August, and we're sitting, okay, are they going to buy at the deadline, or are they going to sell, because we really don't know? And here they are in the playoffs again, making a run. Baltimore cannot allow this to continue. They got to find a way to kind of put themselves in position to win games, obviously. They need to find a way to put themselves in position to win. It's going to start with the pitching staff. Looking around the league here, you're going to notice a lot of familiar names, and a lot of names being the same when we talk about the leaders in some of these categories. Batting average. I'm going to go American League first, and then we'll go through the National League, as I just did. So, batting average leader in the American League is Aaron Judge, batting .415 at the end of, or through the month of April. Again, all these stats are in April. On base percentage is Aaron Judge, batting .508. On base plus slugging, Judge is one-dotting it at 1.159 OPS. Home run leaders are Cal Raleigh and Mike Trout. Of course, Mike Trout went down with an injury earlier. Last week. Had a bit of a scare for an injury. Haven't seen too many updates on whether or not he has come back yet. Let me go find out. How about we do that? Okay, so I went and looked. He's on the IL, which I saw the other day. I completely slipped my mind and everything else that's gone on. But Cal Raleigh and Mike Trout through the month of April led the league, tied for the league lead actually in home runs, but they led the American League. In RBIs in the month of April, that's Alex Bregman with 24, and then walks in the month of April, that is Rafi Devers. So a couple Red Sox there. And then the leaders in strikeouts in this month was Byron Buxton and Jazz Chisholm. For the National League, Pete Alonso sweeps the average OBP and OPS categories. Batting 358, OBP of 483, and an OPS of 1.167. Your home run leader in the National League is Corbin Carroll of the Diamondbacks. RBI leaders, Pete Alonso and Teoscar Hernandez, also have 24, tied with Alex Bregman for the league lead. Walks, Matt Chapman, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, 23 apiece. Strikeouts, Ryan McMahon, 37. That's your month of April in the National League hitters. On the pitching side, your league leader, your American League leader in the month of April in ERA is Max Fried. Innings pitched, Garrett Crochet. Strikeouts, Garrett Crochet. Fried, by the way, his ERA is 0.82. Crochet's pitched 39 innings and struck out 46 on the month. Charlie Morton, as I said earlier, leads the American League in walks 20. Home runs allowed, Tanner Bybee and Bowden Francis both allowed 9 in the month of April. And whip leader is Hunter Brown, 0.77. Your saves leader in the month is Andres Munoz of Seattle. For the National League, you got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 0.38 ERA in the month of April. Lights out. Cy Young leader by far in the National League. Innings pitched is Zach Wheeler, who had pitched 38 innings while striking out 49, which is the National League lead on that side of things. Robbie Ray leads the National League in walks, of course, from the San Francisco Giants. He walked 18 this month. Chase Dolander led the league in home runs allowed with 8. Whip, Paul Skeens at 0.77, tied for the league lead with Hunter Brown. And then Robert Suarez led the National League in saves with 10 in the month of April. Again, I keep saying in the month of April. I'm just trying to clarify. April 1st, April 30th. Nothing further. Your team leaders through the month. Seattle and Los Angeles Dodgers led both respective leagues in home runs, 39 apiece. The Red Sox led the American League in runs scored, 148. Boston and New York, yes, the Yankees, lead the American League in average, batting 260 as a team. Your American League ERA leader was Detroit at 2.50, and your strikeout leader in the American League was the New York Yankees. I'll just spoil it here. They were paired up with the New York Mets, who have been pitching phenomenally. That's part of their hot start to this point. The Mets struck out 257. Runs scored in the National League goes to the Milwaukee Brewers, scoring 144 this month. Chicago Cubs average 267. ERA leaders in the National League was also the New York Mets, again, 2.68 ERA in this month. So looking at all these things, there's a lot of things we can talk about. I'm not going to go bold here. I'm not going to go out of the box. I'm just going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've only seen American League Rookie of the Month because it was Christian Campbell, and again, I'm a Red Sox fan. So when we're looking at those things, I will agree with Christian Campbell as Rookie of the Month in the American League. In the National League, I'm going to go with Roki Sasaki. Just plain and simple. I'm not going to go out of my way to talk about that. In terms of your Player of the Month in the American League, yes, I do believe that Aaron Judge deserves it. 100%. So that's who I'm going to give it to. But I do think that Alex Bregman deserves a little bit of props for what he's been able to do so far this season. He's on currently, I believe, a 14 or 15 game hitting streak. He's been lighting it up, hit home runs, getting on base, doubles. I mean, his slugging percentage is has been impressive to this point in the season. As a matter of fact, if I clicked on the right thing here, slugging percentage, Bregman is third in the league and second in the American League behind Judge, slugging at .609, and he's one of a few players in the league one dotting it, and that is 4. He's fourth currently, 1.009 OPS. Bregman has been absolutely fantastic so far this season, and it's truly a testament of what he's been able to do and the impact he's had on the locker room that the Red Sox are playing as well as they have. They're smart in their at-bats. They're doing a lot of things really well. There's been a couple of collapses for the Sox, and that's far from ideal, I guess, if you're a fan of them. You look at the last couple games, and this kind of spans into May a little bit, but the 6-0 lead blown, and then you follow that up the next night with blowing a 2-0 lead. It's just a little bit rough around the edges, and especially in the bullpen and the pitching staff still. But getting Lucas Giolito back, having Garrett Crochet out there, you have Brian Bayo coming back, or who is back and has pitched, and even earlier yesterday had a really good game, a quality start. There's a lot of things to like about the Red Sox. There's a lot of other people to like as well in that regard, but the point being, player of the month in the American League, I think, belongs to Aaron Judge. There are guys I would love to talk about, though. Tyler Soderstrom was fantastic. He's producing at a very high level for the Athletics. I keep almost saying Oakland Athletics. I know I pause and it's like this awkward stop. It's like, man, is he having a stroke? No, I'm not. I just keep trying to say Oakland Athletics. It's not the Oakland Athletics. It's just the A's. So that's what we're going to say. But Tyler Soderstrom's been fantastic. Zach McKinstry has been really good as well. Hard to go unnoticed with what he's been able to do on the base path specifically. But he's also just found ways to drive in runs and be a very productive part of that team as well. Pretty thrilled with Wilyer Abreu early in the year. It'd be remiss of not to talk about his first 2 weeks. The last couple weeks have cooled off. Jarren Duran has been really good. There's a lot of players who have just been really solid and rock steady through the first part of the year. Really like. American League Pitcher of the Month. I am going to go with Garrett Crochet just because he's matching more of the numbers than Max Fried. Sue me. Okay, sue me. I don't care. Garrett Crochet is just kind of touching more of the numbers that you like to see. But Max Fried's been fantastic, and I'm a big fan of Fried. I loved him when he was with the Braves. I hate that he's with the Yankees. But how can you be mad? The guy's out there dealing and doing, an amazing job. There's no reason to sit back and not give him his flowers. Another guy that I really want to talk about is Tyler Mahle out of Texas. Has been really, really good. Super impressive. I like what he's been able to put together early in the season. Pitching a 1.19 ERA. In 7 games started, he has 32 strikeouts to 14 walks, a whip of .98. He's just doing a really great job. An average against of 174. Love Tyler Mahle so far this year, and it would be remiss of not to point him out. It would also be remiss of, very quickly, not to point out Hunter Brown. A very solid player who is kind of coming into his own. The last couple of seasons, he's been getting more and more recognition. He's a sneaky Cy Young contender in 2025, and it may not be sneaky anymore because he's pitched in the first month a 4-1 record, a 1.22 ERA, striking out 40, walking 7, a whip of .84 as of today. Again, the month of April was a whip of .77. Hunter Brown is another really impressive name, and I think somebody we need to watch out for. So again, AL Rookie of the Month, Christian Campbell. Player of the Month, Aaron Judge. Pitcher of the Month, Garrett Crochet. There's plenty of other names out here, and you can hear them all everywhere. And if you want to hear a little more in-depth on the numbers of this, you can go tune into Immaculate Inning over on Loudmouth Sports Network. Yeah, it's the network that I helped found with Cam, BJ, and we've had so much fun working through this and doing what we're doing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be making a little bit of a cameo appearance on Immaculate Inning on Monday. Super excited for that. The BJ and I are going to have a fun show there. Not sure what we're going to get into yet, but we have some fun stuff planned. And yeah, you can hear what they thought, because they got their guys shouted out as well here on the they're on their channel and on their show. So I don't want to go too bad, because I don't want to step on their toes per se. But I really enjoy this conversation. I also really I've really enjoyed watching baseball this year. Like, it's been the first year in a while that I've been able to sit back and watch a lot of games and just get involved and feel like there's, something for me there. So super excited for that. Moving on to the National League, and if I had my votes, these are what I would do. National League Rookie of the Month again, Rookie Sasaki. Hard not to go there. National League Player of the Month in the field. It's a really tough spot to be in, because there's so many things that we want to look at or talk about or do. If I'm going for just the month of April, I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. If I was going for the entirety of the first month, or the entirety of the season to this point, I'm going Fernando Tatis. I'm going Pete Alonso here. Like what Panda's doing, again, batting .358, on base .483, slugging, or OPS 1.167. That's in the month of April. Sitting here today talking about him. He's got 8 home runs, batting .345 with an OBP .473 and a 1.137. So still a pretty hefty number put up there. 30 ribbies so far this year, and he's also walked more times than he struck out, 24-22 there. So hard for me not to go with Pete Alonso. The biggest thing taking me away from Tatis is his walk to strikeout ratio, where he has walked 14 times and struck out 19. That's where I am sitting on Pete Alonso. My National League Pitcher of the Month, look, we're not going to reinvent the wheel here. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Whether you look at his .38 ERA in the month of April, or whether you look at his .90 ERA in the entirety of the season, he's allowed 4 earned runs, 7 runs allowed total in his starts. Walked 13, struck out 49. He's averaging, or batting average against is 171. He has pitched 40 innings. It's a no-brainer. Yoshi Yamamoto is your guy. There's other names in here that you could look at, though. Nick Pivetta has been really impressive early on, as has Jesus Luzardo, who's a guy that I was really heavily leaning towards. And I looked in and it's just been kind of quiet, right? Like, you don't expect the Dodgers to be a team that don't get kind of the spotlight, but I haven't heard a lot about the Dodgers. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the Dodgers. I know what their team is. I know what they are. But I tuned in and I looked at these numbers, and it's just really difficult not to. Another name that was on my list of guys here, Zach Wheeler has been really solid as well. He doesn't lead the league in strikeouts. He's got 57. Mackenzie Gore does, who again is a guy that I said earlier I may not get to. Mackenzie Gore's pitching really well too, and he's kind of becoming the ace that everybody knew Washington needed. Happy with what he's been doing. There's so many guys. Hunter Green's been good. Like, there's just so many guys here. You want to give them all the love that you can, but it's difficult. So that's where I stand on that. My team of the month is the New York Mets. I'm just really impressed with the way they've started. 21-10. They've been really good up until this point. And it's largely in part due to their pitching, but they've been doing so many other things as well that, it's almost difficult to even to do anything and not pick them, because you feel like you're doing them a disservice. At least that's how I am looking at it. So the New York Mets are my team of the month in the entirety of the league. I don't do an AL and NL team of the month. It's just NL. Really impressed with them. If I were to pick an AL team, it'd be the Detroit Tigers. I mean, their body of work speaks for itself. They're leading the AL Central right now. They've got a lot of things going well. Tarek Skubal's been great, but Zach McKinstry has been kind of the unsung hero. Spencer Torkelson has been an unsung hero. They're just doing enough to keep themselves in this conversation, and I think they're going to be a team that's scary as we go through the year. So, with all that said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It means the world to me. 30 minutes for an MLB recap. I hope you guys stuck around. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. We're starting the month of May off. I got a lot of goals set up. I'm trying to at least get us to 75 subscribers by the end of the month. But we'll see where we end up. We got plenty of time and a lot of work to do. So I thank you guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. My review of the Red Sox documentary will be tomorrow, and I'm really excited for that. And then Monday, of course, we got our weekend recap. Tuesday starts the new schedule where we do college football Tuesday through Thursday. I'm really excited for that. I'm looking forward to getting back on track, talking about college football and doing the things that, that, I mean, I love all these things that we're talking about, but talking about the sport that I just have such a passion for, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get back to that. It's going to be kind of a what you've missed up until, Tuesday. So I thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed. And we will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great weekend.